Hi, welcome to the channel. This is Nerdlord Axel Ollie, and thank you for joining us for the Magia Files, a Glitter Hearts RPG campaign that I am running. I'm a new to EM and new to the Powered by Apocalypse system, so we're having a lot of fun. I'm playing with my two friends, some may call them lovers. We've played a couple sessions so far before we started deciding to stream it. So we're doing a brief recap episode for y'all right now. And to start it off, on the farthest right-hand side of your screen, you're gonna see the icon for Apollo, who is played by Devin.
Howdy.
Apollo is the goth identity, as well as the witch magical archetype with the sadness mystical connection. And then next to Apollo, we have Morgan Goose Doherty.
Hi.
Played by the amazing Pippi.
Pibby.
Pibby.
Mr. Pibb.
Yes, Mr. Pibb.
Goose is the clown everyday identity, the defender magical archetype, and his mystical connection is to joy. Now, do y'all have anything you want to say about your characters, about yourself to the viewers?
I am a clown.
Delightful. Anything from Apollo?
No.
Fair enough.
Why is that funny?
Alright, so our story is going to start off in the swamps of southern Missouri. We know nothing about Missouri.
Very important. We don't know shit about Missouri.
We don't know shit
None of us are
about
from Missouri or have ever been to Missouri.
Not a single one of us has been to Missouri.
We don't know what the Missouri accent is. We've gone with a southern accent. Probably
not very good
correct.
at it.
I'm very good at it.
Absolutely not correct. We literally all know that it's not correct.
Because Missouri's not that far south that they'd have that thick of an accent.
Listen, they can be from the south. They could have moved to Missouri.
They're
It's
really the only
fine.
two that speak with such thick accents too.
That's not
Maybe
true.
I thought it would be
That's not
funny.
true. That's not true.
Well, yeah,
They are
their
not the only
parents-
characters. No. Their parents are not the only characters either.
Okay.
Because the not goose that they are chasing around in the swamp, that Goose specifically is chasing around in the swamp, does have a southern accent.
It's true. He does.
He does. But he's not even a person.
He's some magical monster thingy.
You don't know what this goose I'm calling it a not goose as the type of creature it is, like a not deer.
Yeah, okay.
Goose is chasing around this goose, and not all of my NPC sprites have been made, so just a few will be showcased today, along with our sprites. Goose was chasing around this not goose and promptly catches it by the neck after getting a really bad goose bite.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
always forget to mention.
There
The
it is.
goose bite. Yeah.
He's holding it by the throat, and it spits out this like stone ankh onto the ground, which splits in half into two stone ankhs, just covered in like whatever goose spit. Our protagonists, Goose and Apollo, pick it up.
Goose picks it up. He forces it into Apollo's hand.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. Goose promptly names the not Goose, Dale Earnhardt Jr. To which, when asked its name, it will reply, "I guess I'm Dale now." But Dale proceeds to slurp out of his goose skin and into the swamp, leaving
Schlorp!
yeah, leaving Goose with just like an empty goose skin.
Schlorp.
From there, we go to Goose's house, where we meet Goose's mom, Delia.
She's delightful.
The most delightful, hippiest motherfucker there is. Absolutely. Just iconic. She is meditating. There's rain sounds and everything. She can sense Apollo's energy. She senses the bad vibes around him.
He's surrounded by bad vibes, man.
Yeah, very, very seriously surrounded by bad vibes.
But it's alright. We'll get there.
We'll get there very soon. We'll get there.
Oh boy.
We go through Goose's house a little bit. Apollo and him hang out in his room. Goose throws the goose skin into the washing machine. And then, basically, Apollo goes home to his family, which consists of an extremely uncomfortable and awkward conversation.
Yeah.
The most uncomfortable conversation.
To Apollo's, like, extremely religious, like, almost, I would say, fanatical. The super, yeah, those religion people.
Soup.
Dad's
they also
priest.
Yeah, his dad is a preacher. And none of them know that Apollo is trans.
Conversation when that comes around.
That is going to be one heck of a conversation.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Apollo and his mother get into a bit of an argument. And Apollo yes, a bit. Apollo is sent to his room for the night. And nothing really happens from there, except until it gets to nighttime, where both of our protagonists are, they hear scratching at their windows, you know? Apollo opens up his window to, Dale coming to warn him about some impending danger. Goose, on the other hand, opens his door to a giant creature trying to pull him out of his room after attempting to climb in and failing.
You said door. You meant to say window.
You meant to say window, yeah.
I meant to say window. Climbed out of it, pulled him out of his window, not his door. Yep.
We're not very smart. You'll learn that very quickly.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze doesn't save me.
Yeah. Goose figures out the trigger word for their transformation, which is save me. But specifically, he asks Patrick Swayze to save him. and he starts to like fight. He doesn't really get the chance to fight back before the creature like turns its attention to Apollo, who has climbed out onto the roof of his second story, and is watching the like it's massive a creature, and it's like looming over the top of Goose's house. And it goes for Apollo instead because it apparently senses that Goose has like tapped into this power and it doesn't feel like fighting him. And it takes Apollo a really long time, like the thing almost gets to him before he figures out what the fuck to say to transform. Yeah, it took a little bit. Dale just kind of watched, and once Apollo transformed, the creature scurried off into the woods. And our protagonists kind of like tried to figure out how they transformed. Apollo's the one that figured that out. Goose was just chilling. He didn't even recognize that he looked different.
Yeah, I had no fucking idea. I was just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apollo gets kind of locked out of his house. They also figure out that the trigger phrase to de-transform is "don't need saving."
You don't need the eye in there. You just don't need saving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just don't need saving. Apollo gets stuck. They really understand finally that Dale is not a normal goose because he steps off.
Hey, Apollo knew that there was something wrong with Dale as soon as Goose brought him over.
Well, Goose finally understood that Dale was not a normal goose because Dale steps off the roof and instead of just like floating down or flying down, his leg extends to the ground and then he slowly reaches the ground again as he walks forward. So Apollo sleeps over at Goose's house. Goose, he doesn't have any of his, any clothes, any school supplies, but they go to school the next day because it is now Monday. We start at the bus stop where we are introduced to our lovely jocks, Terry and Alex, who are on the school's world-famous bowling team that Goose was briefly a part of. And was promptly kicked out of for property damage.
Love that.
You know those videos of people throwing bowling balls into the ceiling? Imagine that, but like a lot worse. Yeah. You also meet Robbie, who is one of the kind of like popular kids at school, and Apollo is seated next to the coolest kid in the school, according to him, Obsidian.
Obsidian's dope as fuck.
Obsidian, one of the
so
other
rad.
goth kids in the school. Then we finally get to school, and we start our day off in the classic, homeroom with Mrs. Jones.
Mrs. Jones.
Mrs. Jones.
Mrs. Jones! Our lovely homeroom teacher right here. Apollo takes her off to the side outside to try and attempt to tell her that he is trans. Tell her that he is trans. My apologies.
Goose is in the nurse's.
I was gonna get there.
Okay.
I was getting
Well, she
there. I was
came
walking
up to the
there.
nurse's office before Apollo pulled her aside.
Okay. I had a method to my madness.
Okay.
I promise.
I don't.
Miss Jones assumes because of how badly Apollo is like sputtering that there is something wrong at his home, which there is, but that's not the point.
It's not.
She understands in the end that what he's trying to get across and is very chill about it, and they just go back into the classroom. Goose, on the other hand, while this is happening, is in the nurse's office with the school nurse, Herbert West. Nothing particularly strange happens. Goose hears skittering in the walls, and Mr. West proclaims that there is a rat problem, and then backtracks and says not to tell anybody. To which Goose replies, he already knows, because he's friends with the janitor. Nothing particularly crazy happens in their second class of the day, which for Apollo is French class, and for Goose is ceramics class. Then we get into English. Nothing crazy happens there either. But when we try to go to biology, in the hallway people are running backwards. They're running back. They're not running backwards. And there is a lot of ruckus in the hallway, and Goose and Apollo see this giant, like, black creature with hundreds of green eyes and a long tail. It's just like an amorphous, like, oozing mass. Looming
Scary
over,
shit.
yeah, looming over one of the popular girls at school, Celine.
Ooh, hiss.
Yeah, we don't like Celine in this house. But yeah. They go into the nearby classroom and transform. They fight the creature, and Goose does so much damage with his magical boy hammer that it splits into two creatures at the first hit. The first half disintegrates when defeated by Apollo by shrieking at it.
Yeah.
And the second one, when Apollo and Goose defeat that one, reveals a regular rat underneath all of the ooze that just kind of runs away afterwards. They go downstairs to the main office because the school was put into lockdown because of the incident under the guise of a attacker, like a active attacker on campus. Where Celine is trying to convince the receptionist, Miss Hopkins, that what she saw actually happened. Actually, before that, I don't know how this slipped my mind. Celine completely glossed over Goose, who introduces them as John and Gary. Full names John Doe, Gary Stew. And gives them both $20 as a thank you.
$20.
Yes. And then they go to
She
the
thinks
reception.
John's hot or something like that.
What?
She thinks John is hot or something.
Yeah, she thinks John is hot or something. They're all sent home early after the police deem it safe to exit the building. Goose and Apollo go to the Mega Mall, where they stop first at the haunted subway. at this
It's haunted as shit.
The
It's
sandwich
haunted
shop.
as shit.
Make sure
The
you say it.
sandwich
The sandwich shop.
where they meet our Goose's good pal Robert, who does not want to make a sandwich for Goose to look at because it is a waste of ingredients.
Listen, it's haunted.
Robert does not believe in the ghosts. However, Lily, the little girl who bursts into the subway, does believe in the ghosts and the aliens and everything. She's a regular. Her mom works somewhere in the mall. She doesn't tell you where, and you've never really asked. But she's just like this ball of light, you know? She's just a child. She's nice.
A babe.
She's a baby. And after we go to the haunted subway, we go to the local coffee shop, Deja Brew.
Deja Brew.
I've just been in this place before.
Yes.
Please don't copyright me.
I don't even know what you're singing.
It's the opening to Initial D.
Yeah. It's a meme.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I'm too old.
I think Initial D is kind of
That
old.
anime is pretty old.
Anyways,
old.
anyways, at Deja Brew, we run into after Apollo orders his usual coffee and pastry, and Goose spends an inane amount of time trying to figure out which pumpkin dessert he wants and goes with the pumpkin pie. Afterwards, they spot Maxine and Eddie in the corner, who are in their some of their classes, and Goose promptly goes over to them and starts bugging them, which makes Maxine very upset and flusters her a lot. And when Goose comes back to the table with Apollo, Celine comes over and starts questioning them about where they were, because she recognizes them because they have hallway science at the same time in the same hallway, not in the same class because they're different grades. And coincidentally says a little bit of some transphobic shit, asking Apollo which bathroom he goes to, because he tried to use that as his excuse for where he was when the incident occurred. And during this, Eddie gets up and leaves, which obviously makes Maxine more angry. And as Goose is trying to pull Apollo from this situation, Maxine gets up and tries to pursue. Then Celine and her two friends stop Maxine because apparently one of them, that we will later learn is named Rebecca, likes Eddie. And it gives them enough time to run to the you know it, you love it, Hot Topic.
Hey.
The hot topic.
The hot topic.
Where we meet Skelly, whose name tag clearly says Kelly, but she's written an S in front of it.
Cause she's metal as fuck.
Exactly. And they're in the back of the store. Skelly's talking to them. She insinuates that they are together, and tells them to be safe. Which isn't helped by the fact when Maxine passes the store yelling for Goose, he pulls them both into the dressing room together, which is where Apollo hears some scratching in the walls and his ankh vibrates. I believe next, Apollo convinces Skelly to take them to the security office because they believe something bad is about to happen at the mall because, as I forgot again in this attempt of recording, Dale told them that the mall was a target before they entered the mall.
But
Wonderful.
notes this
You
time.
wrote that down and you forgot about the part where we bumped into Dale in front of the mall entirely, and that was the one part.
Yep. I was specifically going over it before we started. I was like, this is the part that I always forget, and then I forgot it again. Anyways,
Talent.
it's all good. Talent.
Talent.
It's the tism.
It's the tism. Anyways, they go to the security office where they meet Albert, nice older gentleman, who isn't as convinced as Skelly that something might be wrong. They both believe that because of the active attacker incident on school today, that Apollo is just freaking out because of trauma and stress. And Goose sees on the camera a strange, suspicious individual wearing a jacket. When they are exited out of the security office, they see several people wearing that jacket. And Goose approaches the closest one. It is just a random guy. But as he does so, Maxine finds him and comes running at him. He manages to convince the gentleman to help him, but when security is brought into the... when he mentions security, the farthest one away starts running. Goose and Apollo make chase. He drops a piece of paper that has strange writing on it and paint sprayed onto the back. And Goose finally tackles the individual, which turns out to be their classmate Willie, who was there to spray paint them all. Even though he's
already been banned.
Yeah, Willie's a bad boy. You know how it do. Anyways. After some convincing, they kind of, let Willie go. Because he promises not to do any crime today.
That was all we asked him to promise.
Not today. No more crimes for you today.
Goose gets hit by a black splotch and looks up and sees another ooze creature looming out of the vents up high, looking down at them. They go find a public bathroom in the food court. They use the family room in the end because Apollo did not feel comfortable changing in the men's room.
Well, there were people in the men's room, though.
Yeah,
but there are people outside of the bathroom, the family bathroom, too. Just walking by. They transform and walk around a little bit to kind of try and look for the creature. Goose realizes that the creature has been following them, looking out of the various vents. And then they go outside to see Dale again, who tells them that he's not sensing any great danger right now, which means the mall is probably safe for them to go home, which they do. But upon going back to, Apollo's house, his older brother, Joel Jr., comes out with his book bag and a bag of clothes and tells him to hang out at Goose's house for a couple days while their parents cool off because Apollo did not do the dishes before he went to school like he was asked because he was locked out of the house after the incident last night. And apparently they took his door off of his hinges. So they go back over to Goose's house, where nothing crazy happens. They go to, Goose's mom, Delia, she goes over to, I'm sorry, hold up, I'm stuttering. She goes out to the local book club. The mom's book club of this neighborhood, and she goes out and has fun and leaves money for pizza and breadsticks for them to have fun.
Yay!
And nothing particularly crazy happens the rest of the night. After that, we just kind of, go back to school the next day. We start in homeroom again, as per usual, with Miss Jones. And Miss Jones, the OG, the best.
Let's get it.
The only good character. Just kidding.
Oh no, there's
Nah,
plenty
the
of
only
characters.
good character.
The only good character, Miss Jones.
So far.
Only
So far.
good-
Apollo rushes to her desk and warns her that Maxine might try and kill Goose for what happened yesterday. She is a little, unnerved, but she doesn't think anything's gonna happen, so she's calm about it. Maxine comes in and doesn't kill him immediately, just like she said, and kind of goes over to her desk and, is very flustered about it. At which point, Goose very, very dramatically pretends to be dead. Yeah, he pretends to be dead and is helped up by his crush, Dean.
Oh.
And then nothing else happens during that class. So we go over to our next classes for the day, second period, which for Goose is German class, where he manages to convince Dean to do a group project with him instead of his best friend. And for Apollo, it is Intro to Art, which, strangely enough, Celine doesn't come into. She is in that class, but she comes up to Apollo and apologizes in a very forced way that seems insincere, which might be insincere.
Totally insincere.
Which confuses Apollo. Nothing real crazy happens in either of those classes either. And then we move on to English with Mr. White. Who informs them that they are starting Lord of the Flies. And they have to turn in some homework.
Which
and the fun stuff really comes into when we go to the cafeteria during lunch, which is the final scene of our recap. Apollo approaches Celine to ask about why she apologized. It starts to get a little heated. Goose grabs some hot sauce and mustard and secretly hot sauces Celine's school burger. And has the mustard taken from him by Celine's friend Rebecca, who thanks him for it.
I won't hesitate, bitch.
I won't hesitate, bitch.
Rebecca!
Celine stands up once Goose has her sit back down. Before things get crazy, and then they both stand back up, and Celine seems to make a it seems to be just escalating the situation and not de-escalating the situation. So Goose escalates it further by throwing the hot sauce covered burger directly into her eye, which causes her to fall to the ground screaming, which is unfortunate because the vice principal Richter saw it.
I think it's very fortunate. I think she deserved the hot sauce to the eye.
No, it's unfortunate that we got caught.
It's unfortunate that y'all got caught. You both have detention tomorrow. Or no, not tomorrow, after school today. But before then, you have to go to the rest of your classes and then go to detention later today. And that's where our story has gone so far. So if you do want to see where our where this thrilling tale goes, you can check me out on Twitch at NerdLordOllie, XLollie, just like it'll be in the description. I would like to thank my lovely partners in crime, Pippi and Devin, for joining me for this adventure.
Crime.
And, just thank you again for coming.
Yeah.
I hope y'all enjoy future sessions, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Have a nice night. I love you.
Coming.